Selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jongmyoung Lee of OSEAN station at OSEAN. Today, we will practice policy analysis with the tools. I will introduce the policy analysis and the tool we will use in our practice session. I will introduce the theory and tools for policy analysis, including importance performance analysis, and I'll also introduce the policy options we will evaluate in practice time. And then we will have a actual policy evaluation time with the Google Forms we made. Policy analysis is the process of identifying potential policy options that could address our problem and then comparing those options to choose the most effective, efficient, and feasible one. Conducting a policy analysis ensures we have gone through a systematic process to choose the policy option that may be the best for our situation. In policy analysis, we should involve in relevant people who can provide information, affect the policy, and administer resources related to the policy. I believe the practice of policy analysis in this workshop will help you with involving in people you will work with. There are several criteria for evaluating policy options. Desirability, feasibility, and viability can be used in policy evaluation. Desirability is a criterion considering the aim or consequence of a policy or program. We should always stick to the goal and objectives of the policy when we evaluate policy options. Conceptual model and result chain we studied before is a good tool to examine the desirability of policy options. Feasibility is another important criterion in policy evaluation. We should study feasibility in policy analysis as we are working with many constraints in our project. There are internal constraints, including limits in technology, budget, and resources, and external constraints, including logistics, environment, and law and regulations. There are 5 aspects in feasibility, which include technical, economic, legal, operational, and scheduling feasibility. Importance performance analysis, IPA, is a good tool for policy evaluation. In their paper published in Journal of Marketing in 1977, Martella and James showed how to evaluate and find the priority in our service development with the importance and performance grid. Importance performance analysis is frequently used in tourism management. Azopardi and Nash showed how to depict and interpret the IPA result in quadrant. Policy options located in quadrant 1 have a high importance and high performance score, thus we should sustain the resources and keep up the good work. Policy options in quadrant 2 have a high competitiveness but low importance. Thus, we should curtail the resources to avoid the potential overkill. and Nash suggested the data-centered, scale-centered, and diagonal method in interpreting IPA result. For policy evaluation practice, we choose the policy options suggested in the report Breaking the Plastic Wave. The report was published by American foundation named Pew Charitable Trust. Pew Charitable Trust conducted a comprehensive assessment of a pathway toward stopping ocean pollution from plastics. Authors of the report suggested policy instruments in producer accountability, direct control regulation, market-based instrument, and government support program. Producer accountability include extended producer responsibility (EPR) and environmental pollution liability, which can affect all 5 policy areas from reduce and substitute to microplastics. Direct control regulations include plastic product bans, regulation on polymer types and product design, labeling requirement, statutory target, regulatory supply chain standards for prevention of pellet loss, and water or recycling trade regulations. Market-based instruments include taxation on virgin plastic product, landfill tipping fee, deposit return scheme, plastic recycling credit trading scheme, and removal of subsidy to plastic production. Last but not least, government support programs include subsidized plastic recovery, public procurement of reusable items, funding of plastic alternatives R&D, incentive for recycling efforts, finance mechanism to lower capital cost of recycling, and funding for consumer education and training. We have made Google Forms for policy analysis practice. By using the link below, you can open the evaluation form for submitting your feedback on desirability and feasibility of each policy options I have just briefed. We can understand that the desirability match with importance and feasibility with performance. Thus, we can exchange these terms for each other. In this form, we choose desirability and feasibility for considering the public domain of a marine plastic pollution issue. Please provide the affiliation and name of respondent for checking errors and for detailed analysis. We will use a 5-point Likert scale. You can rate the score of desirability and feasibility of each policy option by clicking the circle. Please complete the evaluation for all policy options in the form and click the Submit button. We will analyze the result to identify top 10 priority options and compare the desirability and feasibility of each option. We can use color of bars for grouping the options to policy areas. And we will also use quadrant to identify priority actions and mid to long-term actions. And if we have any chance, we can apply desirability and feasibility evaluation on the potential actions suggested in practice of a conceptual model and result chain of last lecture. Thank you for your attention.